Hey guys, it's Thursday. I'm Lawrence Presman, co-founder of WagerTalk Media and host of Puck Time and The Betting Edge with the Prez. Both shows can be found at WagerTalk TV, our YouTube channel. They're up every day, Monday to Friday. Today's show, Puck Time, hockey, and more hockey. I had the Dallas Stars last night, plus money. Put that winner in the bank already. Rumor has it, so did Dave Cokin. We're going to ask him. Dave Cokin and Carmine Bianco with us. Let's bring our guests in now. Dave, what's going on, my brother?
Everything is good. Went 3-0 last night. College basketball 2-0, and I had the Dallas Stars. In hockey, the college football's been good all season. So, I'm pretty happy right now.
Nice, bro. Nice. And a 4-1 Saturday in college football for everybody who missed out on that. Just go and buy Dave Cokin's end-of-season college football package. Probably the most important package you can get your hands on. Carm, you just texted me that you can't see me through Skype. Yeah. Ever since you started hosting my shows, the Skype doesn't work. I don't know what to tell you, but it works for our show, so who cares? How are you, Carmine?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's probably a bonus for both Dave and I that we don't see you. And as long as the viewers on YouTube are seeing you, that's good. My day is better now than it was yesterday. I put a couple of duds out in NHL, so I apologize. I have a thing that I do, and I'll make this really quick, Lawrence. If I have a run of 1 or 2 days that I think are bad, I literally email Missy and say, anyone who bought my NHL, give them some wager bucks, tell them I suck, because I know long term, and I've had a winning year every single year at WagerTalk in NHL. And I'm off to like a winning year this year, so I know I'll get there. But I hate the losers more than obviously most people do. So
right. I have a question.
Yeah.
And this is a serious question. If it's games that you think were bad plays, as opposed to a game where you probably had the right side, but things just didn't work out, does that make a difference in terms of your attitude the next day?
I think if they're bad, if I do the old in hindsight, these were bad plays. I always figure if a play loses, you're on the wrong side, and that's not necessarily true. I think we're going to get into that last night, and I think in the Washington Philadelphia game, the goalies just absolutely stood on their heads, and when you don't get any goals early, it's tough when you have the total. Vegas, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, Dave.
Yes.
Vegas, the fourth or fifth game in a row now where they've coughed up a lead. They were in complete control last night, or in the first period, albeit in the first. Scored a couple of goals all over the Blackhawks, and then they just couldn't do anything right the rest of the game.
Well, yes and no. They were down 3-2 after 2 periods, but they were playing well. Then the third period problems happened again. Now, I have been around hockey since I was like 4 years old. I grew up right down the street.
There was hockey in 1723?
Yes, there was. And I grew up right down the street, like 2 blocks away from the Rhode Island Auditorium where the American Hockey League team in Providence played at the time. And I was there all the time. So I've been around this game all my life. And so this isn't a handicapping angle or opinion. It's just a hockey take. The Golden Knights, in their first 2 years in the league, have been a 200-foot end-to-end team with a ton of speed.
Yep.
Okay? That is not this team. This team is bigger, potentially more physical. They're not as gifted a skating team as they've been the past couple of years. Some of those guys are gone, and they're just a different style team. And what's happening to the Golden Knights is they're still playing that end-to-end style, and it's really entertaining. The problem is, because they're a more big-body team now, and I think have to rely more on clogging things up, they're wearing down in the third period. And it's happening game after game. They are absolutely getting outskated in the third period. They're going to have to, in my opinion, they're going to have to change their style of play and play more of a Trotz style, an Islander style, where you're not going to outquick a lot of teams. But if you clog the neutral zone, clog the passing lanes, turn it into a muckathon, that's where you have success. It works for the Islanders. The Islanders are not an exciting team to watch. But they don't play that style. They play a style that fits their personnel. I don't think this edition of the Golden Knights is playing the style that fits their personnel, and I think their problems are going to continue until they make adjustments.
And I agree with you 100% in watching this in this Vegas team. The Vegas team of the last couple of years. You watch this team, and they just it was back and forth. They didn't give you anything. They back checked, they forechecked, and they were such a physical team that you thought they just don't give you anything, which is what the Islanders are doing now. The Islanders, I just love the way the Islanders are playing in the sense of they give you nothing, they wait for you to make a mistake, and then they capitalize.
Right.
Yeah.
And then once you fall behind, you're done. They make teams play their style of hockey instead of the other way around. And I know Prez needs to take the show over in a second, but I'm going to say this is one of the problems with the Leafs right now. As much talent as they have, I don't think they have a game plan identity. They play other teams' style of play.
Yeah.
Ovechkin said it 2 weeks ago after they beat the Leafs. He said if the Leafs want to go anywhere in the playoffs, they need to change the way they play. I just don't. I don't see it with Toronto.
Yeah, they need to change their coach.
I agree with that.
And he needs to get some chapstick, but that's a different story.
I think he'll be. I think the consensus is, even though he's got, I think, 4 years left after this, if the Maple Leafs fall short in the playoffs, which they probably will do, Babcock will be out.
Yeah, please God. I mean, that guy is just so done. Anyway, I'm listening
Prez,
to you.
Cherry's available.
Who, Carm?
Don Cherry is now available.
Yes, he is.
Listening to you guys, all I'm thinking is, oh God, the league needs another team that plays like the Islanders. Oy, oy, oy. Great win by the Islanders last night. Really frantic comeback by the Leafs. Missed by a goal, though. Boys, it's puck time. We're talking hockey as we already have started. We're doing 4 games in depth, and we're going to do the last minute of play where we'll race through every other game. But first, I want to give out a promo code, and then we'll get straight to it. I went 3-0 last night. I had Marquette in college basketball, Houston in NBA. And like Dave Cokin, I saw value in Dallas. Now, we did have a bit of an issue yesterday because I did puck time early in the day, and I said I liked Calgary, and then I actually released Dallas. Guys, it doesn't happen very often where I change my mind, but we all have sources. We all work throughout the day, and we find stuff late, and it happens. I found some value on Dallas. I was able to talk myself into playing them even when I liked Calgary initially, and I released them to my clients. And honestly, although this show is crucially important and we provide great information, nothing is more important than the plays we release to our clients. So thank you, everyone, for purchasing me last night and cashing on Dallas. As I said, I'm 3-0. In my last 3, I'm also on a 39-22 all sports run. And I told you guys a few weeks ago I was going to run hot for a while, and I still am. I took $100 off of a month of my plays. You can get a month of my plays for now, only $225. I use the promo code PREZ100. And to give you perspective, it's $119 for a week. You can have a month, the biggest month in all of sports betting, for only $225. That promo code is gone tomorrow. So use the promo code PREZ100. Boys, let's get to it. Carm, I'll go to you first. Florida at home, a huge favorite against the Winnipeg team that has really turned their season around and playing great hockey right now. Florida is minus 160. The over and under is 6.5. And, you know, one of the things that you mentioned earlier, playing your style. This is one of those typical games where if Winnipeg can play their style, they win. If Florida plays their up and down speed, style, they win. Where are you going in this one?
Yeah, and this is where we fall into that category. I've talked about on previous shows about this Florida team, and I love watching this Florida team because I love seeing a team that goes up and down the ice, much like Colorado does when they're healthy and just plays an offensive game. You look at what they did the other night, and I'm not sure if you guys mentioned it on your show, but here in Canada we have Bet365 you can wager on. They settle your wager on a money line if your team is up 3 goals.
No.
So anyone who bet on Boston.
No. If your team scores 3 goals in a row.
No, it's up 3
Is
goals.
It up 3 goals? Whatever.
Up 3 goals.
Yeah. I spoke about this yesterday.
If you have a 3-goal lead, they settle your wager right away. So if you had Boston on the money line, you won as far as betting does.
Vivian, my girlfriend, had that bet. She cashed the Boston ticket and they lost the game. It was awesome.
And while Florida allowed 4 second period goals to go down 4-0, they scored 4 in the third, took it to overtime in a shootout and won the game. So this is one of those ones where it was in her favor to have the Bruins up by 3, up by 4. We talked about Winnipeg. They had a slow start to the season. Defensively, they weren't playing very well. They were a bit of a train wreck, but they've come back into it. They're playing well. I know that they did lose the other night, but they head on the road, and they're a type of team that if they play their game and keep Florida out of that back and forth, and it's kind of like what Dave talked about, clogging up the middle of the ice. That's how you slow down a team like Florida. That's how you slow down a team like, let's say, Colorado when they've got their full team going. This Winnipeg's good on the road. 5-3 on the road. There's tremendous. I think there's a lot of value here in taking the dog if they can get Florida to play their game as opposed to Florida's own game. They steal the points here at plus. I think they're like plus 140 or so. Prior to heading over to Tampa for that second half of the Florida doubleheader.
Dave, what do you like in this one, my friend?
I'm looking at Winnipeg. I don't play until later in the day because I want to get goalies confirmed.
Well, that's what happened to me yesterday with the Calgary-Dallas bet.
I'm sure the surprise starter with Talbot, who, by the way, played a pretty good game. But, I loved it, taking Dallas at plus money against Talbot, who barely plays these days. So anyway, this is part of the reason that you don't see individual games for sale at the WagerTalk for me, and this is why you need to get the all access. I often don't play until like 3:00 in the afternoon my time, and that's what happened yesterday. So the games are there for everybody. If you're a subscriber, you get the game, you get the plays. But if you're looking for individual games, they're often not there. Now in this game, I think situationally it does favor Winnipeg. They're coming off. They have been playing pretty well, but they're coming off a bad game. Hellebuck was. I'm not even sure if he started. I forget now, but their goalie didn't play well in the last game. They lose 4-0 in a game in which they actually had a pretty good territorial advantage against Colorado. So I don't think they're going to lose their momentum off the one game. Florida's in a tricky spot because that's off an extraordinary comeback. You don't see 4-0 comebacks in one period and then win the game in extra time.
Dave?
I think, yes.
The last time a team came back from 4-0 was 19 years ago.
Well, there you go. And I wonder if this could be a bit of a letdown spot for Florida. So my impulse here is to look at the Winnipeg side.
He's Dave Cokin, Carmine Bianco with us. You're watching Puck Time. All three of us can be found at WagerTalk.com. And I'm only giving out a promo for me. We had a promo for Dave a few days ago, and the promo for me again is Prez 100. That's $100 off of my monthly package. Carm, you're a Buffalo.
Just want to say.
Sorry, Carm.
I just want to say real quick. It was Hellenbuck in net in that game, and I think it's going to be him in net tonight. Bobrovsky he is confirmed for Florida, but it should be Hellenbuck because I would think that they would use Hellenbuck tonight as opposed to in a couple of days against Tampa Bay. So that's my thought, anyways. But
Carm, you're a Buffalo Sabres fan. They've hit the skids. They've lost 5 in a row. This is a really streaky hockey team. Actually, it's Carolina that's lost 5 in a row. Buffalo's lost 4 of their last 5. No,
Carolina
Buffalo's
hasn't
lost
lost five in a row anymore.
Yeah. You had it right the first time.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Hutton in net tonight. Carolina's hit the skids too. They came out the hottest team in the league. They've lost 4 of their last 5. We're getting a plus price for a home team that really needs to turn this around. You like Buffalo or Carolina?
I can't take the Sabres right now for a couple of reasons. And this is one of the things is I'm always, and I've talked about it before, a big proponent of you need to get shots on net. And it's not just shots on goal. So when you look at a team's statistics and you see shots on goal, you need to get attempts on goal. And the Sabres just don't do it. They get into the offensive zone, and then that's it. They're not generating shots on net. Sometimes you have to get those ugly goals. This is what teams need to get them going, is ugly goals, and the Sabres just aren't scoring. You look at Carolina, for instance. Okay, yes, they lost 4 or 5, but look at what they're doing. Okay, in those 4 games that they lost, 40 attempts on goal, 47, 64 against the Rangers, including 47 shots, 57 in the next game against the Sens when they played the Sens back to back. And then they 62 attempts on net, some blocked, obviously some shots on goal, 8 goals they scored. You get them to the net, eventually they are going to go in. The Sabres aren't doing it like the Canes are. And this is probably why the Canes are favorites tonight. Another thing is you have to remember the Sabres, this is their first game back from that trip to Stockholm where they played 2 games. Teams have talked about how they would rather play these 2 games at the beginning of the season than to play them in the middle of the season. That travel takes a toll on a team, those flights to Europe and back. It's one of the things they don't like. It's one of the reasons why we saw Tampa with like seven days off and such. But, it's 2 games on the 8th and 9th of this month, and then they come back. Whether they have their legs tonight against a Carolina team who is going to skate and going to come after the Sabres, I can't take plus money even with the Sabres tonight. I would be more inclined to lay the $1.30 and take the Canes tonight myself.
Dave, what do you like in this one?
Well, I won't add much to what Carm said, but I'll throw this in. Carolina's 5-0, rested off a win. And they're in that situation tonight. Sabres have had 3 days off twice this year, or 3 or more days off, and they lost both those games. I would not expect a real sharp performance from Buffalo tonight. So my early lean here is definitely Carolina.
He's Dave Cokin, college football legend. And he wins in NHL and pretty much every other sport he is involved in. What's the next game,
Except
boys?
the NFL.
Avs versus Oilers. Yeah, I'm well prepared. I got no lineup on this game. Carm, do you have anything?
Yeah, there's a line.
Yeah, there's a. I'm looking
$1.28. Edmonton favorite.
Okay, Dave, take it away.
Say this about the Avalanche: when they're rested off a win this year, they've been really good, 6-1-1, and they're off a positive performance, obviously in their last game. Edmonton's really doing well, playing Tippett style. When you look at their roster, you think, well, this is a team that's built for speed with that incredible first line with McDavid and Draisaitl. And yet, even that line is played with some discipline. When they're able to get open ice, look out. And that'll be the key tonight, is whether they get that open ice in this matchup. I think they will. The Avalanche, they did get a nice win last time out in terms of the score, 4-0 victory against Winnipeg, but they weren't exactly dynamite in that game. Things just kind of went their way. I think Edmonton is the right side in this game, and Oilers will get some consideration for me tonight.
Carm, I always suggest refreshing your screen. I forgot to do that. That's why I had no lineup. I don't want to get in front of Colorado, but I'm a big fan of this Edmonton team. I'm with Dave on this.
Yeah, no, you have to look at, and yes, it was a nice win that they got in Winnipeg, but this isn't the Colorado. Right now, they went on this trip hoping to finish at least 500% on this trip. Like, look at what they're missing. Mikko Rantanen, lower body injury out. Landeskog, a lower body injury out. He's not even on the trip. Colin Wilson, unspecified injury, not on the trip. Nikita Zadorov, broken jaw, not on the trip. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, concussion protocol. Philip Grubauer, their starting goalie.
Yeah, that's big.
Not ready yet. Pavel Francouz, their backup goalie, injured in the Winnipeg game, had to leave early on in the first period. So it's going to be Werner in net tonight for them. And he's only played one game. He's their emergency call-up, from their minor league team, and he played in Sweden the year before.
Was quite a game, though. Got to give him that.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you don't know you're coming into a game is when you play your best. When you've had 24 hours to think, hey, I'm the starting goalie, it kind of sets in and the nerves set in. He didn't know he was going in. Obviously, he was injured. He knows he's in net tonight, and it's a different story as far as that goes. And you look at Koskinen's in net for the Oilers tonight, 4-0 at home this season, 2.12 goals against average. He's playing well. I've got to side with I think the Oilers are the play here, and you're getting them at a short price, which is great.
We're all on the same page on this one. Dave, Carm, we've already spoken about Dallas. Let's talk about this Dallas-Vancouver game. I think this is a tough spot for Dallas. I mean, I recognize that they're playing really good hockey right now. And, Dave, there's so much talk coming out of Dallas. The coach, the general manager, everybody is so pissed off that Jamie Benn can't score. Tyler Seguin isn't having a great game. And here they are. They've won 5 of 6. They've won 8 of 10. Can you imagine when those guys actually get going? I just feel like this is a bad spot for them. They're on a back-to-back. They're playing a Vancouver team who finally won a game in their last 5 tries. I like Vancouver. I also don't mind the tie at a huge plus price, but I like Vancouver in this spot, Dave Cokin.
Hey, Ben's got 2 goals in 35 games going back to last season. But, if you watched last night, he had one shot that the goalie just got a tiny piece of, and it went over the net. And he hit a post as well. He might have hit 2 posts last night. So the guy's got horrible puck luck right now. But the team's playing well, and he's their captain, so he's not letting down. Seguin has been off and on. I thought he played a decent game last night. The goaltending situation here, you're probably going to get the backup, but it's not that there's anything wrong with Bishop. Bishop's great, and he's playing tremendous hockey. Goodallman's still pretty good. I don't know. I don't think I'll play Dallas in this spot because the scheduling does favor Vancouver, but I'm not anxious to step in front of Dallas right now because they're playing a really good defensive style. They were the much better team against Calgary last night. I mean, they really controlled the first 2 periods and then did what they had to do in the third period and likely would have pitched a shutout if it wasn't for a double minor penalty.
I was having a little heart attack during that.
Oh, yeah, believe me, that was like, holy crap. I mean, that's not what I need here. But they did get the job done. I don't think I want to go against Dallas, even though the spot favors Vancouver.
Fair enough. And I mean, Dallas is one of the hottest teams in the league without their stars playing well. So I understand that.
Yeah.
Tonight's Vancouver's night. Carm? I don't think it's. I can't take Vancouver here. I'm going to take Dallas. Even I would love to see Bishop come right back and be in goal tonight because he played well last night. It's likely going to be Kuberden against Markstrom. Markstrom's been on sort of a downward trend the last week and a half. I think the thing about Vancouver is, I've thought the whole season they're playing above their heads. And I know you always joke around with the other guys about the superstars on their team. They've got a good young team, but at some point, if you can't roll out 4 lines, it catches up to you. Dallas is playing really well. Points, like we said, 8 of 10 they've won. Points in 9 of those 10. And one thing, and Lawrence, I hope we can do this in the future, is sort of look aheads. And when we talk about look aheads, a team schedule. And I look at Vancouver, and when you look at Vancouver's schedule, I'm going to do this really quickly. Other than this Dallas-Colorado one that they've got coming up, they finished the month in November. It's a tough road trip. They go to the East Coast. They'll start with Dallas first, Nashville. Then they go to Pittsburgh, Washington, and Philadelphia before returning back and facing Edmonton on their way home. That's a tough way to finish off the month. And that's where the losing streaks come in. Easily a 3 or 4 game turns into a 7 or 8 game a losing trip. We see it. It happens. Just to go off on a quick tangent, look at the Sabres. Sabres have 9 of their last 15 games. 9 games in 15 nights after Carolina tonight. And they're not 3 back-to-backs, a couple 3 and 4 nights. They play Chicago, Tampa, Boston, Calgary, Florida, Toronto twice. They play Carolina tonight. I know I went off on a tangent, but it's very easy for this Sabres team to go from losing 5 in a row to losing 10, 11, 12 in a row. And then we're like, why didn't I get on this streak? Winning streaks are great. Losing streaks are even better. They're just as good. If you get on a team's losing streak, you're going to make money if they continue to lose. But as far as tonight goes, I'm going Dallas. They're a hot team right now, and I just think that up and down that lineup, they're much better than Vancouver. They're playing better with guys like Ben who aren't scoring. And I know what Dave talked about. I watched that game, and Ben coming in off the right side, and he just kept missing that top right-hand corner of the net, whether their deflections are completely missing them. He'll start scoring at some point.
He's Carmine Bianco, Dave Cokin with us. Guys, it's time for the last minute of play. 10 seconds each, because I've got a tape betting edge in a few minutes. New York Rangers in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay minus 270 over and under 6.5. The Rangers are playing way better hockey right now. I'm staying away from this game. Dave?
Revenge for Tampa from a 4-1 defeat. I think they'll win tonight, but the price will keep me far away.
Yeah, the price is too high for me. They're also returning from that game from Stockholm, Sweden. I'm looking at the total here in the over. I think we see some goals here from both sides.
Arizona on the road, pesky team playing Minnesota, minus 120 for the home team. I see no reason to sprinkle a little bit on Arizona. Dave?
Yeah, they got a little revenge, too, because they lost a home game to Minnesota 4-3, in which they did not play well. Coyotes have to be feeling great about themselves. Back-to-back shootout wins against 2 tough opponents on the road. They're a good road team. I could see Arizona getting there again.
I took, when the overnights came on this, the total was 5.5. The under was only minus 110. So I took it just because I thought that would get juiced. It's at like 135 now on the under. So it's a pass for me. Although I do have a play on the under, but I'm only laying 10 cents juice as opposed to 35.
Anaheim hosting San Jose. Basically a pick'em game. Total is 6. I actually like the over in this game. San Jose is a scoring machine right now. Dave?
Yeah, San Jose, I don't know how long it lasts, but right now they're playing well. And they're a streaky team, by the way. The Sharks this year rested off a win, 5-1. So they have a tendency to keep winning when they are winning and then keep losing when they are losing. And they lost 3-1 in the prior meeting to the Ducks. I would look at the Sharks here.
This is probably one game on the whole card where I have absolutely no play on. I don't like the over or under, and I'm just confused by the line in itself that it's literally a pick 'em at 110 for just given the fact that the Sharks are streaking right now. So I'm passing on this one.
LA Kings minus 140 against Detroit. Total is 6. Detroit's playing way better. I'm staying away from this game. Dave?
Well, I'm not laying a price with the Kings. I can tell you that. And they're 1-5 off a win this year. So, the wins haven't been frequent, and they haven't been able to string anything together. Detroit's got a lot of confidence right now, getting some good goaltending, surprisingly, which I think is most people would agree is probably a weak point for them. I would look first at the Red Wings here.
He's Dave Cokin, Carmine Bianco with us. That, my friend, is...
Wait a minute. Doesn't Carmine get to say anything on the Red Wings Kings?
No, you know what? My bad. My mind went... I just got an email from Tony. He's supposed to be on the betting edge next. His car was stolen last night.
Ooh, that
and his
sucks.
cell phone was in his car, which is utterly idiotic. I mean, I'll lock my car. I'll leave my car in the driveway, and then I'll leave my cell phone in the car, and then I'll go in. He's all out of sorts and can't do the betting edge. So, Dave, you want to do it?
Yeah, sure.
Whoa!
He's got. This is what happens when you park your car at El Cortez in Vegas, right? The locals are going to steal it.
Carm, Detroit Kings.
Yeah, listen. Quickly, while I do believe the Kings are going to win tonight, I think laying anywhere between 145 and 150 is not that great. Detroit, total wise, they got me the other night, but that's only because I had under 6 in the Detroit Anaheim game, and they had a 6-on-3 in the last minute of the game after a couple Anaheim penalties. Detroit tied it up, killed my total. Those are the unlucky ones. You're on the right side, but then you're on the wrong side, so it happens. Kings, if you can get them at a buck 35 or less, let's say.
Guys, thanks so much for a great show. I was a little bit out of sorts today. Not my best show. My apologies. Dave, stay with us. I got to quickly call Tony, and then we'll bring Rob Vino in. Rob Vino and Dave Cokin for the betting edge. Make sure to check that out.